It's always best if I'm on mute for the first bit and then I do the introduction, because that makes it sound like I've got really interesting things to say. Let's try again. Hello to everyone. Hello boys, girls, men, gentlemen, women, ladies, the other people, giraffes, scuba divers. Anyone who's here watching the thing, we're going to be doing about mean, mode, median and range today. We're going to be doing it at a GCSE foundation type level. It does go a bit further. We've done lessons on frequency tables, but today we're going to be talking about mean, mode, median and range, and getting to grips with not only how to do it, but why we do it. Because, like in a lot of maths, and I talk about this a lot with my students, I don't really like the idea of telling you to do things and not really explaining why. So we're going to try and do that as well. So let's go straight on in, now that you can hear me, because like a moron, I've managed to do one where you didn't hear the first bit. Never mind, I'm sure I had nothing interesting to say anyway. So, here we have the introduction. And we're going to be talking about mean, mode, median and range. And we're going to be learning all of these different things, talking about how to do the different things, talking about how range is different, talking about why we do use them, and talking about when they're broken, when we don't want to use them. So they're the things that we're going to be covering in this 20-minute, 25-minute different lesson. Okay? In order to do so, it's important that I remember, please do send me pictures of you working. I'm happy to mark anything you've done, although I try and give you work that's got answers. There's got a poster here that can show you if you're making posters to try and help you. This emoji poster might help. But there's lots of different things you can do. I'd love to see what you're doing, because when you send me stuff, it makes me feel like I'm actually making a difference and inspiring you to go away. It's not work. I hate the phrase work because it sounds like, oh, I've got work to do. Actually, it's just learning. So just show me some of your learning. Show me the songs. I know I said I hate work, and then I've written the word work twice in that sentence, 3 times in that sentence. So yeah, way to go, Mr. Harris. So here we go. A basic primary school maybe, secondary school maybe, way of remembering them. I know I use this in my year 11s. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add and divide for the mean. The mode is the one you see the most, and the range is the difference between. If you could remember this phrase, you'll never forget which one is which. There are other ways of remembering it. Mode sounds like I'm saying with the cold most. Mode and most sound very similar. So mode is the one that is there the most. Median sounds like medium. A medium is in the middle, small, medium, large. So median is in the middle. However, first key point, when you're finding the median, you're finding the middle number when the numbers are in order. You must order your numbers first. If you do not put them in order, then you have not found the median. You found a random number. So must put them in order first. The mean. It says add and divide. Let's make sure we're clear on this. Add all the numbers together. Divide by how many numbers there are. You want the sum of all of the numbers. Now, I see this a lot and it infuriates me. People working out the mean and just writing a number as their answer. I'm not tolerating that. We are not primitives who just think that the answer is important. I am not going to have people in my scope of learning who think that the answer is what we're trying to do. It's more about trying to get explanation. Because why are we doing averages? We'll get onto that shortly. So here is some questions for you to tackle using this. Range is the difference between the highest and lowest. Highest, take away lowest. If I was a singer, my vocal range would be my highest note, la, la, la. That's probably my highest note, la. My lowest note, la. That would be the difference between those two notes would be my vocal range. So these are the 5 things for you to work them out. And I'm going to say some good mornings, because we've got 9 people joined me this morning. I've got JJ Games, Nat H, who I think is Nathan, Evangelia Strataco. Do apologise if I pronounce anything wrong. And we've got the Galactic Spider Tom Dunkling. I wasn't sure which Tom Dunkling was going to come. We've got various Tom Dunklings, but we've got the Galactic Spider version here today. Good morning, Charity Mbuse. Good morning, Alicia. Good morning, everyone. And I am now unmuted, so hopefully you can all hear me. So, we should have, for the first one, the mode is 5, because they're all 5s. The median's 5, because they're all 5. The middle number, and they're all in order, is 5. The mean, notice, I have not written 5. I have written 25 divided by 5 is 5, because when I state the mean, I state the calculation I have done. I am not a primitive, neither should you be. Never be one of those people who just writes answers. It makes you come across like you do not understand the point of maths. Range is 0 because the highest is 5 and the lowest is 5, and 5 take away 5 is 0. More about that later, which is why the range is in capitals, because we're going to talk about range in a second. The next one. Notice mode is 8 because there's 2 of them. Median is not 5. It is 7 because we have to put them in order first. If you don't put them in order first, you have not found the median, you've found a random number. The mean, notice I have not said the mean is 6, I've said the mean is 30 divided by 5 is 6, because I am not a primitive. I make sure I show my calculation. I add them all together, get 30, divide by 5, and they get 6. If I'd made a mistake in this, I'd be easily able to trace it. And the range, notice I've explained my calculation again, is 8, take away 2 is 6. The highest, take away the lowest, gives us the range of 6. And it's in capitals because it's different. Finally, we've got a different set of numbers where the mode is all of them, because if there isn't a mode, there isn't one that's most common, that means they're all the mode. So that's a floor in mode sometimes. Median is the middle number, and I've said 16, but 16 isn't a number there, and that's because halfway between 15 and 17, once they're in order, you go halfway between the two. A good way of doing this is add them together, divide by 2. We're going to do this in a second on the whiteboard. So median is 16. Then the mean is 120 divided by 6, which is 20. And the range is 4. I should have written a calculation. So Mr. Harris was primitive here. Should be 40 take away 12 is where I got my 28 from. 40 take away 12. So hopefully this all makes sense. Good morning to you all. Anyone who's got any questions, please feel free to use when, who, what, when, where, why, and how questions in the chat, and I will know that people are just trying to work things out. So that is how we do this. This is how we do it. Don't know why I sang that. Forgive me. There's no real excuse for it. So we have got, if I come over here, and you should be able to see me, and we have got finding M, and R, mean, mode, median, and range. So, got a different set now, and we just want to make sure that we've internalized everything we said. Hey, diddle diddle, the median's the middle, you add and divide for the mean, the mode is the one you see the most, the range is the difference between. So we just want to make sure we're clear on all of these things. So we've got these numbers, 1, 2, 7, 7, 4, 9, 3, 6. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is the mean, mode, median, and range. So I'm going to put mode, median, and mean, and my range is elsewhere. It is different. We will talk about why. And so before I can do for the mode, I'm going to just put them all in order first anyway. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 7, 9. That's all of those in order, so I don't need these anymore. The mode, there are 2 7s, so it's 7. The median is halfway between 4 and 6. So halfway between those 4 and 6 is 5. We could have just done 4 add 6 over 2. 4 add 6 is 10, divide by 2 is 5. And then we've got the mean is add all the numbers together. So before I don't put an answer, I'm going to put 1 add 2 is 3, add 3 is 6, add 4 is 10, 16 and 14 more is 30, 39 over 8. I'm writing my calculation first, and 39 over 8, if it's still the same as it used to be, is going to be 4 and 7/8. Or, if you use a calculator, 4.875. Boom. Knowledge and facts. Okay, so these are your mean, mode, median, and then the range is over here, which is your highest, take away your lowest. 9 take away 1 is 8. Why am I keep separating them? There is a reason. I'm not just difficult. Well, I am difficult, but there is method to my madness. The range does not tell us about the general picture of the data. This is why we're doing this. We're not just doing it because your teachers told you need to find mean, mode, median, and range. The general picture of the data is the mean, mode, median, and range can each give you an insight into how, for example, how a group of students have done in a test, or what the general picture of information is. Range can't do that. For example, let's just have 3 people. 3 people have done a test, and they scored on their first test 20%, 30% and 40%. So the range is 20. 40 take away 20, the range is 20. Those same 3 people are told to have to do a retest, and they score 70, 80 and 90. I think you'll all agree that 70, 80 and 90 are a massive improvement on 20, 30, 40. They've improved by 50%, they've nearly got all the marks. However, the range is still 20, because the range does not tell us how well we've done. The range tells us how spread out our stuff are. In fact, range is useful sometimes in a school or testing situation to spot cheating. Because you won't know this, but there is an expected spread of results in a class. In any given class, there'll be an expected amount of spread. If they're too spread out, that possibly means either the teaching wasn't very strong or the learning wasn't very good at the bottom end. Probably the latter, especially if people have done very well still. A large range can suggest too much variance in how much effort's being put in or how much is being understood. A very, very small range normally means some of the questions are too hard, some of them are too easy. So it's the easy ones everyone got, and the hard ones no one got. If the range, if everyone scores 44 out of 50 in a test, everyone got 44, you probably suggest that there's 6 questions that are too hard and there's 44 questions that are too easy, because you wouldn't expect everyone to get the same questions right with each other. That's how range is different. It doesn't tell us an average. It is a spread. Just like we have the word spread for utterly butterly or many other spreads. I can't believe it's not butter. You have spread, which is a range. There are other ones that you'll learn about when you do further on, called interquartile range and other ways of spreading things out. It's how far about the data is spread out. If you imagine spreading butter or margarine on your toast, you're spreading out the thing far and wide. Range is how spread out the numbers are. What's the biggest number and what's the smallest number? So that's how range is different. Why do we need them? We need to be able to compare data. We need to be able to know if we're making a difference. I use the example of test results. How do I know as a teacher that people are learning? Well, unfortunately, one of the things I can do is do a test. I don't like to, but we sometimes need to test to check that people are A, learning, and B, that I'm teaching well enough. Because my reflection is if people don't do very well in a test, there's 2 things going wrong. My teaching maybe isn't strong enough, and the learning or the effort to learn isn't strong enough. So 2 things need to be addressed. I can then speak to my students and work out how I can address those things. Mean, mode and median will all do this. They will always help us to work out what we need to do better, to do worse, to work out how well we're doing in general. It doesn't tell you specifics, but it tells you the general picture when you've got a large group of data. For example, let's say I'm an Olympic high jumper. I'm not this year, but who knows, in 2021 I could become an Olympic high jumper. You don't know. Don't try and put those limits on me. Let's say I'm an Olympic high jumper. If I get all my jumps through the year and get an average, and then I do the same the following year, and that average goes up, I can say that I'm improving. Because I've found an average picture for the year. It gives me one. If I had to go through every single jump and go, well, that jump's better, that one jump's not as good, that one's better, that one's not as good, it just wouldn't be as easy to compare. Whereas if I add up it's probably better with long jump, because high jump, I think anyone who does do high jump, you get to choose what height you're trying to jump, where a long jump, you just jump as far as you can. Let's say I was doing long jump. If I add up all my results over the year and divide by how many jumps I do, I get an average for those jumps. I get a mean average. The mode might not be as useful, and the median might be useful. I want to just find the middle point of where my jumping is. Both the median and the mean would give me a picture to allow me to compare, am I improving or am I getting worse? And that's very useful in planning going forwards. This is why we use averages. However, they can be broken. I'd like you to look at these sets of data. In the first one, the mode is 78. I think you'd all agree. It's not fair to view those 7 students an average of scoring around 78%. That doesn't make sense. There's 3 students who got in the 90s, 2 students who got in the 80s. It wouldn't be fair to say, oh, how did the class do? Oh, most of them got about 78%. So mode, in a small set of data, it becomes less and less useful. In fact, you'll find in most sets, mode is not really that useful at all. However, it is useful if other things haven't held up. For example, mean and median. Mode is useful when there's only a few options, and then seeing what the most common is useful. When there's lots of options, or for example in a test, everyone can get lots of different percentages, it's less useful. When we've got the median, hopefully we can see in the second data, the median is 3. So if I said, oh, in general, yeah, this is the amount of stuff that's been done. Let's say there's a amount of miles of cycling done. The median here, yeah, on average we did about 3 each. And you've got Jeff Bikey. That's his name, Jeff Bikey. He's done 97 kilometres. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean 3 kilometres is about what we all did? I did 97 kilometres, and you said 3 is about right. So when the spread of data, once that range gets big, if it's a small data set, it can really throw it. The other thing is, you think Jeff Bikey had problems. Jeff Runney, which is an unfortunate name, Jeff Runney had run 49 kilometres last week. If you look at the mean of this last set of data, 0, 1, 0, 0, 49, Jeff Runney did 49 kilometres. Susie's sprint did 1 kilometre because she just did some sprint practice. And the other 3 just went, it's lockdown, I'm not going to do any exercise. They might have said that, we don't know. The mean suggests here everyone did 10k. That doesn't seem right, does it? 5 people didn't go for a run at all, and yet the mean is suggesting that everyone did 10k, because 49 add 1 is 50, divided by 5 is 10. So you have to be careful that each one does. Mean, mode, median can be faulty. Mean is much better for large sets of data. Median is much better for large sets of data. Mode is much better for small sets of data where the options are few. We don't want lots of options with a mode. So be aware of these drawbacks. I have been in the way the whole time of that. So hopefully now you can see the data. Sorry, I'm in the way, Galactic Spider Tom Dunklin. I try not to be in the way, but yes. The range is just the highest number and the lowest number taken away. You don't have to halve it. It's just the highest and lowest numbers taken away from each other. That's the range. All you have to do for the median is get the 2 middle numbers. If there's 1 middle number, it's that. If there's 2 middle numbers, you add them together and halve it. But if it's range, it's just the highest, take away the lowest. There's no halving or anything like that. Just the highest, take away the lowest. Sorry for being in the way, everyone. Hope you can see what I was talking about in this top set. The top set of data here, the mode suggests that 78 would be the general picture of the data. But you can see that it's not the general picture because there's lots of in the 90s. The second one suggests that the median, 3, suggests, everyone cycled about 3 kilometres. That's not fair, because Jeff Cycley, he did 97 kilometres, and he's going to get really annoyed. And finally with the running as well. Jeff Runney did 49 kilometres. He's going to be a bit disappointed if people suggest, oh yeah, on average, everyone did 10. He's like, well, no, I did it all. That's not fair. You can't say everyone did about 10. You imagine if these were hours worked on a project. I'm sure you've all been in a group work like this. Five people in a group. 1 person does 1 hour of the project. 3 people do 0 hours, and 1 does 49. If I went to teach that group and said, well done guys, you've all done about 10 hours of work, I think 1 person there would be like, no, I'm not having that. I did way more than that. So it's important that we understand the limitations of mean, mode, median, and range. So, what to do now? There's a mean, mode, median, and range worksheet in the description below, and you've got a Taskmaster challenge for this week of making a ransom note. I'd love to see those stuff sent to me. Let me know how you get on. Any questions, do put them in the comments below the video. I hope that you have understood the mean, mode, median, and range. Feel free to watch again from the start if you're not clear on anything. I do apologise for being in the way in the last bit. And I've been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Let me know how you're getting on. Request some topics if you want me to request them. Hopefully this has been useful. I've been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Ciao.